Hello, Bronies and Pegasisters, it's me again, it's Clayton. Got off another shift at work. And I came back just in time to review the latest My Little Pony episode, On Your Marks, written by Dave Polsky and Josh Haber. When it comes to Dave Polsky, I personally find him to be a hit or miss writer. Personally, I really disliked feeling Pinky Keenan over a barrel in Season 1, though I felt that he redeemed himself with episodes like Rarity Takes Me to Manhattan in Season 4. And even though I also dislike his episode Appaloosa's Most Wanted, mostly for just being boring and predictable, it seems like this episode, while having some similar problems with Appaloosa's Most Wanted, is still an entertaining episode once you get past the slow beginning. But let's get to the story. Since the Cutie Mark Crusaders have finally earned their cutie marks, if you've seen Season 5, you probably already know that, the Crusaders, Sweetie Belle, Scootaloo, and Apple Bloom are trying to find out what's next for them. So, the whole episode revolves around them trying to find out what to do next now that they have their cutie marks. Sometimes they try to help out other ponies with their problems, but their problems seem to be solved pretty darn quickly. And they even try, separating as a group to go out alone to help out, to just do things for fun or to help out others without much success. That is until Apple Bloom happens to find a dancing pony, I forgot his name, and I believe he was voiced by Travis Turner, who thinks he can earn his cutie mark through his dancing performances, but is a little too shy to perform on stage. And that's basically the episode. The story, in my opinion, is sort of convoluted, because, not that it's hard to follow, because it's very easy to follow, but there just isn't a lot of attention given to the plot point that finishes off the episode until really around halfway through. Most of the beginning of the episode seems to be mainly filler, and that's a problem I've had with a lot of Cutie Mark Crusader episodes, especially in Seasons 1 and 2. Remember the Cutie Pox, and remember when that episode was just, I believe, around 18 straight minutes of filler with only 4 minutes that actually forwarded the plot? This episode isn't as, filler-based as that episode, but it still has that same problem of a story that really feels like it's a short rather than an episode, but they had to put in a huge amount of filler and a song to have it reach the 22-minute mark. However, that's not to say that there's not fun to be had, because a ton of background ponies make either voice appearances or just background appearances to please the fans. This includes Zakora, Bulk Biceps, who I believe is still voiced by Michael Dobson. If he is, great job, Mike. Tree Hugger, surprisingly. Yeah, I remember her from Make New Friends But Keep Discord. She makes a quick cameo. Lyra, Bonbon, Octavia, and many more. Not to mention, the song in the episode, sung by Apple Bloom, I believe it's called Out on My Own, is actually really, really well done. I know it's sort of a cliche to say that Michelle Krieber's singing is absolutely brilliant, but I'm just going to keep on going with that cliche. Her singing's absolutely amazing. I mean, she hits the harmonies well, she happens to pull off what should be just basic lyrics in a very good fashion, and the animation throughout the song really does make you feel for Apple Bloom, since she has this sense of isolation, and in many respects, she actually ends up being so caught up in her own depression that she can't immediately solve the problem that the dancing pony has, what the dancing cult has. That was actually the message of the episode, to not get caught up in your own depression or in your own problems to the point where you can't solve other people's problems. I like that moral. It's happened to me a few times. I remember when I've been depressed after getting a really bad test score, or missing, or, when I do something that I regret at my job. So, I think the moral was handled well. It's just, I wish more attention went to that dancing pony. Because once the plot actually does start, it is good, it's just, there's not a lot of development given to the pony that Apple Bloom, Sweetie Belle, and Scootaloo eventually help at the end of the episode. I personally think the plot would have worked better if the focus was given towards that pony earlier on, like around the 3 or 4 minute mark, instead of the 11 to 12 minute mark. Because at that point, it felt like the episode went from being too slow paced to being a little too rushed. But that's just my opinion. Also, is it just me, or did I catch a botch for one of the lines at the beginning of the episode? I know I botch when it comes to my vlog reviews all the time, but here's the thing. When you hear the Crusaders saying their lines for 6 whole seasons and you hear one botch at the beginning, it does stick out like a sore thumb. Basically, when Apple Bloom says this is ridiculous, it sort of sounded weird to me. I don't know if you guys heard the same thing, but that's definitely what I heard. So, this episode is sort of inconsistent. It doesn't exactly deliver what I expected for an episode where the Crusaders eventually find out what they're going to do now that they have their cutie marks. I thought they already figured that out at the end of Crusaders of the Lost Mark. That they were going to, and I quote, help fillies to break through to the ultimate reward of their cutie marks. It's in the song, so I figured that they solved that conflict already, but apparently they didn't. Granted, it is a fun episode to watch. The musical number is legitimately interesting, and I do like most of the background pony tributes, but they tend to cover up an excuse plot when it should support it. So I'll give On Your Marks around a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10. Not truly amazing, but not terrible either. Hopefully, next week we'll have a better episode. See ya.